Hello there, and welcome back to Perkins Pipes. If I'm wearing the deep purple shirt and I get the deep purple hat, you can only imagine what this episode is going to be about. Folks, we've had some pretty deep episodes recently, and I thought we'd go a little bit lighthearted for this one. I am indeed bringing out the purple pipe that I made a little while back, last year I suppose it was. This is the only pipe that seems appropriate for this episode. And if you're thinking that this is deep purple like Highway Star and Smoke on the Water, think again. This is a deep purple that you may not have heard before. So folks, as always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. I do have an addition. You've seen this shirt before and this hat before, but I do have an addition right up here. The deep purple pin. Managed to pick this up, believe it or not, at the Indiana State Fair. The Indiana State Fair this year had a theme called Vinyl Revival. Had a wonderful exhibit of all kinds of vinyl album covers and stuff, and had a shop there as well. My son and I each picked up a couple things, and I picked up the deep purple hat pin. So there you go. So let's have a little bit of fun here. Some of you may know this, some of you may not, but back in 1968, Deep Purple formed, and the original lineup, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the Mark I lineup. I think they're up to the 12th different lineup now. But the Mark I lineup was Richie Blackmore on guitar, Ian Pace on drums, John Lord on organ, Nick Simper on bass, and Rod Evans on vocals. Now, while I've owned all of those on CD and some digital versions, and one time I think I owned everything on vinyl, and then stuff happened. So at the moment, I only own one of those original 3 albums on vinyl, which we'll show you here in a moment. But all 3 are very, very different. So if you're used to, you think of the 70s rock, you think about Child in Time, Highway Star, Space Truckin', Fireball, obviously Smoke on the Water. You think about albums like Made in Japan. That is not the sound that they started off with. So we'll bring up some album covers here for you, and then, like I say, I'll show you the one that I still own. But their first album, 1968, was called Shades of Deep Purple. And they had some covers on it. I'm bringing up the track list here. This album opens up with an instrumental, 4.5 minute instrumental called And the Address. Not sure that was probably the best way to open up an album for a brand new band, but that's what they chose to do. Then the second song was a cover, Hush, by Joe South. And that's the one and only from this era that you will still hear sometimes on classic rock radio stations. You'll still hear Hush. Hush, hush, I thought I heard a calling my name. Now hush, hush, I need good loving and I'm not to blame. That song. Went from there into One More Rainy Day, which is their first composition of their own. And it has there's that late 60s sort of poppy sound. I will say for all 3 of these albums, you hear some early prog rock sound. Sometimes there's a little bit of psychedelia in there. But there's also sort of a poppy sound. And One More Rainy Day is pure 60s pop. One more rainy day. Once again my mind is gray. Look at what a rainy day can do. One more rainy day. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. All right, so it's got that very lilting, lighthearted. even up sort of a Beatles sound, and there's a reason I specifically bring up the Beatles. Then they've got kind of a two-parter for the closeout of the first side. A song starts off with a prelude, something called Happiness, and then goes into a song called I'm So Glad. Second side opens up with Mandrake Root. Now, there's a little bit of a hint, perhaps, of where they were going to go in Mandrake Root. I got a mandrake root. There's a thunder in my brain. And it's a little bit heavier, but then it slows down into kind of a smooth ballad. Food of love sets her flame. So it goes back and forth in that. And then another cover, The Beatles, Help. I played it for my son, who is a crazy Beatles fan. Nor as an interest piece. He doesn't care for it. He prefers the Beatles, and I understand that. And they roll right into from Help to a song of their own called Love Help Me. And then another cover, Hey Joe, famously covered by or done by Hendrix and other people as well. So that first album, a bit of a mixed bag, several covers on there. I like it. Absolutely love Hush. I do enjoy Mandrake Root. Love Help Me. Not my all-time favorite of the first three. In fact, the next one probably is my favorite of the next three. Let's pull that up here. So here we go. Also in '68 came out the book of Talisman. Ooh, ah. So let's pull this out of the plastic. Found this a few years ago at a shop. And we're to go to the other side here. There we go. So here's the book of Talisman. Really interesting artwork here. And we got a picture of the band on the back. And you got some information here. It says Talisman, bard of the fabulous court of King Arthur in beautiful Camelot. As such, he was responsible for providing all the entertainment and setting the various moods of the court. The Book of Talisman is a representation of 7 different feelings, with Richie, Rod, Ian, Nicky, and John establishing the moods under the spiritual direction of Talisman. The book is not an end in itself, but merely another link in the chain of musical progression, which is evolving as Deep Purple. So, very, very cool cover there. Love that. Book of Talisman is, it and the third one, both really, really high in my overall estimation. You've got Listen, Learn, Read On, which actually makes a reference to the Book of Talisman. You got to turn the page, read the Book of Talisman. Anyhow, a lot of organ. You think of Deep Purple, a lot of times people think of Richie Blackmore and his incredible guitar riffs. That is the 70s. He's a driving force in these first 3 albums, but John Lord on the Hammond organ really is the backbone of the band in this early stage. Hard Road is next. Kentucky Woman, do another cover. The Neil Diamond song, Kentucky Woman. She shines in her own kind of light. And a day what once was wrong is all right, and I love her. God knows I love her. Kentucky Woman. Moves into the 4th song, which again, like the 4th song, the last song on the first side of the first album, it's kind of a 2-parter. The opening part is a instrumental bit called Exposition, and which morphs into We Can Work It Out, another Beatles cover. Then you get the side B, which is longer than side A, but it only has 3 songs on it. The Shield, Anthem, and another cover, River Deep Mountain High. Now I do like the River Deep Mountain High. I do like Ike and Tina Turner's. I probably like Deep Purple's better. Not as big a fan of the Celine Dion. That's the one that probably most people know these days. But love the Shield and love Anthem. Just exquisite, very orchestral at times. You've got a slightly medieval feel to these songs. And there's even a pipe reference in the Shield. Pop up, smokes a pipe of a sweet and better life, and trust in the strength of the Shield. Slight pause, and then the music continues on there. So just love that, love Anthem as well. Moody takes me to a place, historical, I guess. So different, so 60s, very 60s in the field. And then, let's see if we can pull it back up here. Their self-titled third album. So a lot of times a band will do that maybe early on, but they wait till their third album just to have the self-titled. So Deep Purple is what it's called. And there's only one cover on this one, yeah. So the first one starts off Chasing Shadows, really great drums from Ian Pace on Chasing Shadows, which was written about, they recorded it at a house they thought was haunted, and that led to that particular lyric. Blind is absolutely exquisite song. John Lord has the sole writing credit for Blind. It's definitely organ heavy. It's got ethereal. It's wispy. There's one cover on this one, song number 3 on the first side, which is La Leña, cover of Donovan's song. That's your lot in life, La Leña. I can't blame ya. Oh, La Leña. Beautiful ballad there, going into an instrumental with Fault Line, and then one of my all-time favorites, The Painter. Deep Purple like to do their instrumentals. You got strong instrumentals on each of the first 3 albums. You have it again on Burn, 1974 album Burn, the first one with David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes, with the song A200. But The Painter. Painter, come color up my life. Oh, painter, come color up my life. And then writer, write me out a play. Oh, writer, make the meaning gay. I don't need a poem, just give me words to say. Beautiful ballad. 5 songs on side A, leading into side B, which only has 3 songs. Whited and Rosemary, Bird Has Flown, and April. Now, Whited and Rosemary is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek song. The fellas had gone out and seen the movie Rosemary's Baby, that horror movie, and where Rosemary apparently conceives a baby by the devil. And so their take on it was, in fact, this is the line of the song, why didn't Rosemary ever take the pill? So, setting aside all the morality of that, a bit of a tongue-in-cheek lyric. Then, Bird Has Flown is a definitely has a very psychedelic feel. In fact, you really need to go listen to that one. We'll see if we can get links to these in the notes below, but it starts off with this very psychedelic. Very psychedelic. Again, this is 1969. April is a 12-minute masterpiece. I can't remember when the lyrics first come in, but long intro with April, and it is gorgeous. I've played it before for my wife. We were driving once, and I said, "Listen to this," and she had no idea it was Deep Purple. She's not a hard rock fan at all, and she really liked it. I thought it was really just absolutely beautiful. After that, John Lord really wanted to move the band more in an orchestral direction. They did record the album. Let's see what it's called here. I apologize for this. Let's see here. Concerto for Group and Orchestra. Concerto for Group and Orchestra. And Richie Blackmore said, fine, if that's the way we're going to go, we'll go that way, but if I don't really want to be a part of that, if that seems not the way to go, then we're going to go the way I want to go, which is going to be more hard rock, which is, of course, the way they did go, and became just the heavy hitters of hard rock and metal in the 70s. And they're still recording today. So, do you know those first 3 Deep Purple albums? Do you have any favorites that you really like from those albums? I hope if you don't know those, that you'll be inclined to go check those out. Folks, as Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.